with Tucker Carlson today. If you're like most people, you're perfectly aware there's something called Bitcoin, which is something called a cryptocurrency. You may have been skeptical of it, maybe even dismissive. But as the years have passed, it's become obvious to everyone that it's not going away. And it's probably going to be a central feature of our future. Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Can you benefit from it? And by the way, what is it exactly? You may have been afraid to ask that question. So we've searched long and hard for about 5 years, actually, to find someone who can answer all of those questions in a credible way that non-experts can understand. And we think we found one. He is Michael Saylor, who you probably recognize. He's an entrepreneur, of course, co-founder and CEO of MicroStrategy. He is a huge investor in Bitcoin specifically, and we think, maybe despite that or because of it or both, the man to ask. So he joins us now. Michael Saylor, we're really happy to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Tucker.
So I basically summed up my own position as clearly as I possibly could. I didn't know what to make of cryptocurrency. I don't understand it. I made fun of it. It's clearly not going away. It's clearly a really big deal. So let's just start at the beginning, if you don't mind, explaining what is it?
Okay, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is the first engineered monetary system in the history of the human race. Full stop. So now to explain it, the first question is, what's money? The second question is, what's the problem? And the third question is, what's the solution?
Right.
Bitcoin is the solution. Now go back to the beginning. What is money? Well, an economy consists of goods, services, and property. You know, I want you to do something for me. I want that product. I want you to manufacture something for me. I want that house. I want that land. That's half the economy. Now the question is, how do I send 37 horses to you? And then how do we keep the books balanced? So you have to send me back money. Money is socio-economic energy. Money is monetary energy, or it's the energy, the backhaul energy that we use to trade with. If I can send you 10 bushels of corn and you can send me money equal to 10 bushels of corn, then we can trade with each other. So in the history of the world, human beings have tried different monies. We've used seashells. We used the giant stone coin of the Yap people. We used tobacco bales in colonial America. We've used copper coins, silver coins. We've used stone coins. We use glass beads in Africa. These are all types of money. Eventually, we got to settle on gold and gold coins as money. But gold was never fast enough as money. How do you move 10 tons of gold from here to there? So ultimately, people used ledgers. And those ledgers were issued by a merchant, or they were issued by a mayor, or they were issued by an emperor. And you know, you can go back 5,000 years and you can find Sumerian tablets in clay where they've etched in like 37, bushels of oats in return for something. These were the ledgers. So money is that shared ledger of who owes what to whom. And a lot of times the money is a token, like a glass bead. But the problem with a glass bead is if the Africans use a glass bead and the Europeans show up and they can manufacture 1 million glass beads, the Europeans dump 1 million glass beads on the Africans lose their homes and their livestock and all their wealth, and they're impoverished. So if you have weak money and someone else has strong money, if they can manufacture the money, like in the Pacific Islands, they use stone coins. Some European showed up in a ship and he realized that stone coins are rare on one island, but they're very plentiful, big stones on another island. He sailed to the other island, picked up the stones, brought them back to the first island, and enslaved everybody on the island. So it's like, problem. So the problem with money is, how do we keep track in a fair distribution of who owns a claim to what? If there's $100 million worth of capital in the economy of products and property and corporations and the like, you have to have $100 million of money. Now, if I issue $100 million of currency, it equals all the stuff in the economy. Now, if I start to inflate the currency and I issue another $10 million,
yes,
now I've taken 10% of the economy and given it to my friend. That's the inflation rate. If I keep inflating the currency, if I double the amount of currency, but the amount of stuff in the economy is constant, well, then the price of everything that's scarce and desirable doubles.
Yes.
Okay. If it's not scarce and desirable, it won't go up, but If there's 100 things and there's 10 times as much money, it stands to reason that the things cost 10 times as much. So money is economic energy. The problem is inflation. Because in the history of the world, we have inflation. When the Romans created gold coins, they start with a certain amount of gold, and they would debase the currency, right?
Yes.
They would cut the amount of gold or cut the amount of silver in the coin, and when they cut it to a small enough level, no one would take the coin anymore. So the mercenaries don't want the coin, the emperor can't pay the mercenaries, the empire topples. If I just issue you paper, you know, whatever the paper might be, and then I triple the supply of the paper, eventually the currency collapses. So the problem with currencies in the history of time is the trust in the issuer. You're trusting an individual, right? You're either trusting a banker, a J.P. Morgan, or you're trusting a family, the Rothschilds, or you're trusting a king or a prince, or you're trusting a mayor, or you're trusting a government.